Welcome back. We are on Volume 2, Episode 2 of Onomatopoeia.
That's right.
We've got a few books to run over, not too many. We've got more details about the fewer books we have, but prior to that, we want to go into... there was a release of a trailer this week.
Oh, yeah, Spider-Man. That came out on Tuesday, I want to say, was the day they released it. Now, this kind of got ruined for those of you guys that found it, or it's just kind of troll the internet, kind of. They had a description because they've released the trailer overseas, I think at like some conventions or something, and it's pretty much what do you expect. But it seems interesting to me, like, the Spider-Man movie, the first one that they did, Spider-Man Homecoming, was pretty enjoyable in my opinion. I mean, I like that one a lot.
I'm not a big Peter Parker fan, but I mean, I really enjoyed Michael Keaton in that movie.
Yeah.
But I will say, on this trailer, we won't, like, just sit here and dissect it, but this trailer, I don't know, it's fun, and I think for the generation it's really aimed for, it looks good.
Well, and like I was telling you guys, like a couple of years ago now, I guess. Jesus.
When was Homecoming?
2017, I think.
Okay,
yeah, because it was like the year before Infinity War, which was last year. We're getting old.
Very fast.
Anyway, this is the best rendition of like teenager Peter Parker I think we've gotten, in my opinion. If Spider-Man was in school, if he was just a kid, I think that this is really good, really, really solid. A bunch of villains in this one too. I had read previously that Molten Man and Hydra Man were in it.
See, Nick is just explaining this earlier. What's the guy's name? The fire one?
His name is Molten Man.
Molten Man. Yeah, I don't.
He was some kind of a worker for I want to say Osborne Industries. He had done something and he's maybe related to Liz Allen in some way. But he was kind of a good guy in the 90s. Then they killed him off, and then I think they brought him back for a little bit. But he's someone that's pretty much kind of a D-list villain in a sea of D-list villains in Spider-Man already.
You were going over the elements. You said there was. Yeah. We got a Hydra Man.
Yeah, water, air, burn, fire. As we have an inside joke of that. Yeah, there's a Hydra Man. It seems. What is it? Is it Maury? Is that his name? Or is it Maury or Lonnie?
My Spider-Man knowledge is limited name.
There's Sandman, of course. I don't know if it's going to be Flint Marko. He looks more like, he's like Cement Man instead of Sandman. It didn't look like Sandman, but yeah. He looked like maybe Granite Man or Limestone Man.
And then, are you counting as the air element Mysterio?
Well, I don't know. But and then of course the other one's Molten Man. Jake Gyllenhaal. I think he looks great as Mysterio. I like that costume.
Costume looks cool.
Yeah, it does look really cool, especially, the CGI version of him fighting.
Do you think we're going to get an explanation of the cape? Like, do you think we'll get an explanation of why he looks... Because he looks very comic accurate. That's what I'm wondering. Like, do we get an explanation of why he's dressed so flamboyantly?
I have a feeling, based on, like, Mysterio's character, Quentin Beck has a flair for the dramatic because, he's like a stuntman, actor, that kind of thing. I think that kind of does it. But the cool thing is that, he seems to be a hero that is helping what it appears to be. So I'm going to propose this to you, Austin. Yeah. What if this guy, this Mysterio guy, what if he turns out to be a bad guy?
I think she would hit the fan because
can you imagine?
I could, especially not Jake Gyllenhaal. I don't think he could really pull off.
You don't think? Yeah, he's such a good guy. Do you remember that old Robot Chicken sketch? Whenever this wasn't a real movie that had Jake Gyllenhaal and Tobey Maguire as brothers? Wasn't that a real thing?
Oh, that was a movie.
Okay, yeah.
What was that?
I think it was called Brothers.
Where one was went to war, right?
One went. I think it was Jake Gyllenhaal that went to war.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's right. Picture. It's real. And then the Robot Chicken one I think was called Earnest as Fuck. But yeah, no, it was great. It just made me laugh seeing that because I was like, yeah, they should be brothers, and then they were literally brothers. But yeah, I again, it looks like a cool trailer. Nick Fury's in it, which is cool. But the thing that I was talking about earlier, this trailer I think is really pissing MCU off, pissing off Marvel, because what this shows is that when the snap happened, Nick Fury dissipated, Spider-Man faded away. Of course,
do you think that
Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good.
Do you think that really now that I'm thinking about that, do you think that matters that much? Just due to the fact that we've already gotten confirmation of the Black Panther movie, we knew this was coming, and isn't there something else?
Well, what are we, like 20 movies in to Marvel now or so?
I don't know the exact number.
I think we'd be pretty cynical by now that nobody dies in comics, unless you're Uncle Ben, of course. But yeah, so I think, you know, us that kind of have a knowledge of that would know that. But as far as like kids and you know, like just people that really don't understand that kind of stuff, it kind of lowers the stakes to me.
You know, when you say kids, I forget about how frequently the internet is used by a younger generation. Seriously,
That's right.
The other day I was at the store and I saw probably a 2-year-old and they were on an iPad.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say because our listener base is between the ages of 12 and 18, so you know, but are all 4 of us that listen. But yeah, to me that just kind of lowers it, and especially with in-game coming so quick. That kind of I could see that get Marvel
got
to go.
3 months.
Yeah, they've upped it to
April.
Yeah,
it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I know. But another thing I saw too in the Spider-Man trailer, he's packing a suitcase that has a BFP on there. Doesn't stand for Big Fucking Parker. It stands for, I think, Benjamin Franklin Parker, which maybe we're gonna get some Uncle Ben type stuff in there.
If we actually, I mean. I would like to know who plays across from what's her name that plays Aunt May.
Marissa Tomei?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I would really be curious as to.
You know who it's gonna be, right? Jack Black.
Oh God, don't.
God, can you imagine that?
Yeah.
What's up, Peter? Just God.
As long as I can watch his death scene.
Oh God. Remember, use a condom. It just like dies. No, I don't know, because I was surprised by Homecoming that they didn't have any Uncle Ben stuff.
That was my favorite part of that
at
movie.
all. That was your favorite part? They didn't have any Uncle Ben shit? Yep. Okay. That was pretty ballsy of them, to me, because that's the whole crux of his character. You know, like, in every Batman movie, they have something about his parents dying. In every Superman movie, you know, he's talking about his planet blowing up.
But the correlation in... I had to listen to something about this, but the correlation in Into the Spider-Verse, that... No, it's not necessarily Uncle Ben has to die, but every Spider-Man's uncle has to die because Miles is Prowler.
Yeah, that's right. Uncle Aaron died. Yeah.
Isn't that funny? That's actually a driving force. Is that
or
the
a
uncle's
relative
death?
of some kind? Yeah, I don't know what Spider-Ham. Did he have a relative that died?
Uncle
I don't know.
Porker?
We'll have to go deeper into that someday. But anyway, yeah, this looks like a cool trailer. I'm kind of excited for it. Because, you know, I thought Spider-Man was good. So, anyway, yeah, I'm gonna go see it. I'll give it my money.
And hopefully next week I'll have a little bit of a review. I'm gonna go see the M. Night Shyamalan superhero film Glass. We'll see if that is.
Glass.
But going on to the important things, comics. I want to spit something at Nick really quick before we dive in.
All right, lay it on me. What do you got?
All right, I'm gonna list the books that I have stopped reading after 1 or 2 issues because I want to read them in the full format, like a trade or hardback, some sort of collected vibe. Are you reading?
I will tell you in 1 word or less if it's good or not.
Okay.
Okay.
Black Panther. Are you reading it? With the intergalactic one? Okay.
No.
It's so far good, and I'm very excited for the trade, which comes out, I believe, next month.
Okay.
Fantastic Four. Are you catching up on this?
Yeah, I've read a little bit of it. Fantastic Four, again, I'm not huge on them as a group, but I love the individual characters.
Mm-hmm.
Doctor Doom is here in what's it, number 6 we're on?
Yeah.
Yeah, Doctor Doom is cool, and this is like real Doctor Doom, not like, you know, infamous Doctor Doom.
Yeah, he kind of got fucked up at the end of, was it 2-in-1?
Yeah, and it's directly proportional to Reed Richards. If Reed Richards is in this thing, he just can't stand it. He has a fucking stick up his ass about Reed Richards.
I want to tell you something really quick. I thought you'd find this humorous. Jonathan Hickman was on Twitter this week, and he made a list of his favorite Avenger, Reed Richards, his favorite X-Men, Reed Richards, and then his favorite Fantastic Four member, Doctor Doom, his favorite Justice League member, the Norm. And if you remember, the Norm was in New Avengers, which is basically his version of Dr. Fate he created.
Yeah.
Oh,
God.
I just cracked up really hard at that. Of course, that's what he would say. But yeah, no,
that wacky Hickman.
I'm excited to read this run, but I don't think it's going to be where I would like it to be.
Yeah. To go back to Hickman, that dude, when he left Fantastic Four, he had this,
he kind of finished Fantastic Four, which
I
is
know,
the craziest thing.
Yeah. There were so many big shoes to fill. So I think it's Dan Slott writing it now.
Yeah, the guy, he's left Spider-Man and he's on to this.
Yeah, and he did fine on Spider-Man. I don't have any problems with that.
I was rereading Venom Inc., where it's Flash, Eddie, and Peter that team up. And that was such a fun book, like a really, really good way to put those characters together.
Yeah.
Conan, after this issue, I've decided that I'm reading it in trades.
I read the first Conan. I wasn't super impressed with it. I haven't read the second Conan.
Issue.
Yeah.
I'm going to wait till it all comes out. Now, jumping over to DC, I only have 2 books, but Catwoman and Batman Who Laughs, I want to read them as full stories. That Catwoman has been awesome.
Okay, yeah. Joelle Jones. Yeah, she's writing in
and
drawing it. Yeah,
yeah,
it's pretty good. I was gonna say, for those of you that like Catwoman, it's really nice.
It's a cool Selena story, especially after what has happened after Batman issue 50.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's nice to see how like other people deal with this kind of fallout.
Yeah, and the fact that she's got thrown right back in the fire so fast, kind of it's interesting. Batman had to go look for something himself in that Mr. Freeze case, but Selena just got they just came towards her. It was, like I said, dealing with that issue.
And that's how Selena would have handled it anyway, just immersing herself in something else. Yeah, at least it's not, something illegal, Well, probably.
She's probably doing something.
Vigilantism is a little illegal.
As soon as I saw the cover of Batman Who Laughs, I knew I could not. I need to read this as a story.
Okay, all right.
That cover looks so cool.
You would like the Grim Knight. He's Punisher Batman.
He's right on the cover, and it looks so good.
I've been reading it because Batman.
And Snyder.
Yeah, and Snyder and Jock. So I mean they were on All-Star Batman. That was the combo there.
Was that a maxi? That was 14.
Yeah, I believe
right?
so. Yeah, I think it was 14.
Now that is
14 or 18.
Is this going to be a mini? Is this? Or is
it's only 6. Okay. It's only a mini series. Yeah, and it's
did
cool.
you read it? Okay.
Of course I did. It's Batman.
But is it if I can remember, because I read the first issue and then I knew I didn't want to read after that. Oh, I mean, I'm going to read it, but and they killed.
They're killing Bruce Waynes from different universes.
Okay, that's what's.
If I don't think this will ruin it for you, but I will give you a little piece from that I really took away. It was awesome. Whenever Batman and the Batman Who Laughs meet up, because of course they do. The Batman Who Laughs, he's talking mad shit like he always does, and I love that because this is a Batman without restraint, a Batman who will just say whatever he wants. This is one that will talk because he is so damn confident in what he's gonna do. He was talking about some of the Bruce Waynes that he pulled from the other universes. That these are ones who were ending up having families, ones who were mayors, ones who retired from being Batman, just successful. And so he proposes to our Batman that you are the worst Batman in the whole multiverse. We are successful at what we do. These guys are happy. We are fulfilled in what we do. You are not. So therefore, you are the least version of Batman, the lesser version of it. And it was so good. It was great. I love Batman.
I'm really excited to see where this goes, and it should be good.
He's great.
Now these are issues that I've read that I wanted to discuss. Are you reading Middle West?
I thumbed through it.
Had you read the first 2 issues?
I don't remember them. I always thumb through Image, but I haven't.
This is by Scotty Young.
Scotty.
We know him for mostly penciling and stuff like that. He does I Hate Fairyland.
Does he? Okay.
But he is now kind of shifted to writing.
I noticed it was the kind of that messy sort of penciling style.
He is not doing pencils, which I wish he would have, because I think his is kind of that kind of fun, goofy.
I wasn't a huge fan of this art style.
The story lends itself to the art style, if that makes sense at all. It's a very
if it's disjointed, unorganized kind of.
But this is a really fun book. I think Nick and I are from Missouri, so this has to do with being in the Midwest and just
from the Middle West.
It's a cool way to look at it, and he's a KC boy just like Jason Aaron, and they just.
So he's someone you would stalk at a con if he was there.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, he's pretty nice.
Oh, you have stalked him.
Yes.
Okay, I see.
But no, I don't know. I really like this book, and I think this is gonna be a fun story. Like when it wraps up. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if it's limited or what.
Yeah, I may have to see a trade of it then, because usually Image books I don't really get. The only ones I ever really like are like Ice Cream Man. That one I enjoyed. Those are rough.
I stopped after issue 3 because it got crazy really fast.
It makes sense, but yeah, I know it's just it's out there, but it's just so different than everything else. That's why I guess I like it. And I read The Walking Dead still, because I like the comic. I don't like the show.
Is the show still on TV?
This is the last. No, it's not the last season. This is the last. This is the last season with Rick Grimes. So I imagine it'll be the last season. Because I mean they've pretty much done all they can do with that show. I feel because they're catching up. They're catching up to the comics, and
I read the book, but I have not read.
It's like Game of Thrones, where they're overtaking the books now.
Yeah, well, we only got a few more months of that too.
That's right.
All right, let's jump to Marvel. I've really only got 2 books I want to talk about.
There's a lot that came out though. There's a lot of new stuff.
There was a lot of new stuff.
Black Widow, a new Invaders, a new X-Men, or present like a Marvel Presents or something.
Presents. They used to do that back in the 90s.
Yeah.
And I thought the Presents. There was a Namor story by Greg Pak I really liked. I'm not trying to be a douche here because I'm not currently writing for Marvel.
But you're gonna be one.
I just don't like Charles Soule's work on Wolverine.
That's interesting because Charles Soule is usually a pretty good writer.
I love his Inhumans run. And Daredevil's hit and miss with me, but he's been doing this Return of Wolverine, and he did this Presents. He did this short story in it, and it's not. He's taking the character in the direction he wants to see it, and I just have a different view on Wolverine personally. But that's not not saying I'm right, but I'm not digging this sort of thing. Are you reading any of this Return of Wolverine, or now that he's back, or any of this?
I thumbed through the Return of Wolverine because that's a limited series too. There's only 6 of those. I think.
And I think it's actually branched off now to other stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I like Wolverine, but I don't. Why does he have hot claws? Do you know why he has like the super hot claws now?
No idea.
Okay, because that's what I've been trying to figure out. And I don't think they've said anything. I know that there's this bad girl named Persephone that's like just really ruining stuff for him. I don't know why. Seems like everybody likes picking on Logan. First it was what's his name? The Romulus, that guy. First it was him, and then it seems like they want to target him. But yeah, no, I haven't really been following Wolverine all that much.
But besides the Presents Namor, let's talk about Invaders. Did you Chip Zdarsky?
Yep, I read Invaders. It was interesting because
I think this is gonna be good.
Yeah,
the first issue had a lot going on.
It was a pretty big issue. Like it was 30 pages, I think.
Yeah, it was bigger than most issues. My thing about it, and I liked the split art style as well. I really liked that for the World War II flashbacks. But I'm ready to watch Namor just be a fucking dick. Like, I mean,
he's always been. Well, I guess back in the Invaders days, he wasn't a dick.
He was more, and I think that's where it's going to be very interesting to see this sort of.
I also like that they started back in 1945 too, because Marvel always has like this sliding time scale kind of thing.
Oh, but this one is actually
this one.
If you look at the characters, I mean, these characters like Buck, Cap, and Namor, and I guess John is back.
Yeah, Jim Hammond. The original Human Torch. They haven't used him in a while, have they?
Do you remember this? They did when they did All New, All Different Marvel. James Robinson of Starman, and one of my favorite writers. Yeah, he did All New Invaders, and it was a cool telling, but of course it didn't sell well because this book is kind of a hard sell if you really think about it.
Yeah, well,
that's why I was blown away that they
an interesting team. I mean, Cap, Bucky, Namor, and the Human Torch, but not Johnny Storm Human Torch. That kind of turns people off.
And it's funny because it didn't work with James's very well. It was a good book, but I mean, it didn't sell well. So I'm anxious to see if Chip Zdarsky can take it in a different direction.
What I'm hoping to see is that we see like some other
like the Wizard from that time period.
I was gonna say exactly like the Wizard, Liberty Bell, Destroyer. I'd like to see Nick Fury and his Howling Commandos. Is Sergeant Rock, is he in DC or is he Marvel? I can't remember.
Sergeant Rock, I think, is early Marvel. What is that? The Atlas time period.
Okay.
Marvel.
Yeah. So it'd be cool to see Sergeant Rock again.
But I think they could do that. I think this is funny. Did you read Chip Zdarsky's Spectacular Spider-Man? I'm not a Spider-Man fan.
Is that one currently running, or was it one in the last few years?
It was the opposing one to Dan Slott's Amazing. So it
Yes,
was the more
yes,
like
I
just
did then.
Peter being Peter, teaming up with like Scott Lang and like.
Yes, I did read that.
And
Those ones
I
were
thought
pretty
it was
cool.
a fun book.
Yeah,
And
it was cool.
but
I liked
this has
Amazing
got-
more, but it was all right.
This has just got a different tone.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
Chip also writes Jughead. Like he's got that sort of fun going thing, but this is not like that. Seems like he's shooting for something different, and I'm excited to see where he takes the book.
Yeah, that was something I was thinking about when I was reading this book. I thought about how hard it is to, like a wrestling term that people use is like turning a person heel, meaning making them a bad guy who's like a good guy before. Namor is probably the best execution of that I can think of.
Yeah.
Making a bad guy or making a good guy bad. Because with Cap, that was one thing that was interesting, but it didn't really go anywhere. He's one that started off like altruistic and stuff, and just like lower. As soon as he caught amnesia, he, I guess, went off the deep end. But that's something they address too in this story. During I think it's Jim Hammond, like he's doing something with maybe like his friend's wife or something. I wasn't familiar
fully
with
understand that story.
I wasn't familiar with the character. I thought that was going to be Dr. Phineas P. Horton is who that was going to be. But anyway, he's there in a picture with, I think, Professor Xavier, and it is Xavier because they say that by name. But what I was wondering is who the other guy in that is. I think it's maybe Magneto, if that's Professor Xavier there. We're gonna blow it up here so we can see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Magneto, but I don't know to be certain. Or
We might have to
maybe it's that old dude. No, it's the old dude in the picture. It's the old dude he's talking to. I can't remember what he said his name was. His name's Randall. Randall. Because Jim Hammond's talking to Randall.
But we'll probably get a little bit more of a backstory or understand it as it goes on.
Yeah, so those of you guys that know your Marvel history better than us, if you know who this is, if this is somebody that's been introduced in canon, please comment and let us know who he is.
Because, I feel like I'm going to have to do a little research on this to really get my head around it.
Yeah. There's a lot of history dating back here.
Let's go to my favorite book this week, and it's been for like the last couple months, but issue 10 of Venom.
Yeah, Venom. Venom's been doing good. Donny Cates, that's that's why. It's Donny.
Yeah,
it's
he knows what he's doing. But I like the first panel is Todd's Diner. So, the McFarlane nod right there.
Exactly,
I love that. But watching watching Eddie talk to his half-brother at a diner and really understanding
No, was this brother, was he already in the continuity, or is this somebody new recently, or?
This, from my understanding, is new.
Okay.
Because, he had a sister.
Okay.
But this is a little half-brother he didn't know about.
Gotcha. Okay.
But watching this graphic presentation of Eddie Brock drinking and driving, killing a child, and his father covering for him, like it's like about 6-7 pages of this book, and it is intense. Like it is brutal.
It's kind of scary because this happens. Stuff like this is real.
And
so
the way the storytelling of it, like the way where you think that maybe Eddie was gonna get, like, if you didn't kind of have a backstory, I just like the good build to it. And there's a line in this book I love where the little brother asks if he could stay with Eddie, and he said yeah, and then he points to a mattress in the alley.
Yeah.
And he's like, you can stay on. And I
enjoy Chateau Brock.
But it's really crazy that if you kept up with this, you understand, like, the symbiote is now brain dead.
Okay.
Which, after the Null battle, it's now become brain dead.
Okay, because I wasn't sure who Null was.
Null is the god of the symbiotes, like the actual
Okay, the
deity.
one we talked about last week. Okay.
Yeah, but the concept that his symbiote is in him, and is, well, right now in the shape of the dog next to him.
Yeah.
But it only goes off of his impulses. So if Eddie gets a little stressed, the symbiote only reacts to Eddie. It's not got its...
So it's like on a basic level where it can't really...
Yeah, because you know how the symbiote would always talk to Eddie,
Yeah.
but now it just reacts to him. So he really has to control himself.
Okay.
Which is and then by the end of it, you find out the maker.
Yeah, I like that part. I like the maker.
You find out the maker knows that he has cancer.
He has lots of cancer.
Yeah,
is what he said.
That last panel is creepy as fuck. I'm looking at it right now, and it's got.
Yeah, I know. It's just a scary looking maker, and he's just like smiling.
What was it?
Almost.
Was it? I think it was at like issue 7 or 8, a few issues ago when he was in the lab.
Yeah, I remember.
And the maker is just basically just like.
Yeah.
I don't know, like what. I think Millar is the one that originally created that sort of read.
He did the Fantastic Four. I don't know if he did Ultimate Enemy or not. I'll have to research.
But I really liked when he became that. That was just great.
That was awesome. But because it's kind of what we've postulated before too, that if Dr. Doom were to cease to exist and something happened to Reed, how easy that the axis could be. Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure they've covered Marvel what ifs before where
but not as good as they did in the Ultimate verse.
No, the Ultimate one's good.
So, but yeah, I think this is just strong because the last time we really got some fun maker action was New Avengers that turned into the U.S. Avengers.
Who do you think wrote it, Austin? Who do you think wrote Ultimate Enemy in the Ultimate Universe?
Well, I thought Millar, but it probably is Hickman.
Brian Michael Bendis.
Oh, Hickman did the Ultimate, but Bendis did that?
Yeah,
of course he did.
Yeah, of course.
Everything's based on Hickman.
Of course. Everything Marvel Bendis. Ultimate's him.
All right, let's go to the Detective Comics this week. I mean DC, because that's confusing if I say it that way.
DCC, Detective Comics Comics.
But you did read the actual Detective Comics.
Yes, I did.
Not.
It is a myriad of cameos leading up to Detective Comics 1000.
What is this,
996 is what we're on
so
now.
We're very close.
Basically, what's going on here, as you guys knew from the last one a couple weeks ago, they killed off Leslie Tompkins. Which is
Leslie Tompkins?
She's kind of like a Tetracary character, where she's like a nurse who runs like a clinic in Gotham, and she was friends with the Waynes and stuff, and kind of Alfred's main squeeze for a little bit of time.
Okay, that's who that is. Yes.
She knows Batman's identity, everything. As it turns out, it seems like she was poisoned by the Joker and died from the toxin.
Yes, I remember
but
that.
It seems like that's not the thing going on. Anyway, in this one, he goes and he meets up with Henry Ducard, from the Batman and Robin run. I think it was.
Oh, when Dick was.
No, this is the first one. Whenever like the Bad Blood thing. Whenever it was like Nobody, his son. Okay. Anyway, there's like a character named Nobody, who is like Henry Ducard's son, who learned all this stuff, and Henry Ducard was like a detective who taught Batman a lot of this stuff, like how to detect. So
they're kind of reaching back and pulling in some stuff.
Yeah. And so anyway, he goes to see him. Anyway, he's attacked by this big amalgamation of a bunch of Batman's villains, like Harley Quinn, Joker, Bane, Killer Croc. I think it's probably like a Two-Face kind of deal, or not Two-Face, Clayface kind of deal going on there. Sense, yeah. But then anyway. After that, he goes and he sees another master he had. He's going to go see Kirigi. He was like, a guy who trained the League of Assassins and all them. And they introduce a...
Has the League of Assassins been in this?
Yeah, going back, but they haven't really had a presence recently in Detective Comics. Anyway, he goes and he sees a Batman animated series character that they introduced for the first time in here. Kyodai Kin. Do you remember the whole Batman TAS whenever they had like a ninja thing? Mm-mm. And like, anyway, he was a
What's
ninja.
What's his name?
Kyodai Kin.
And he's only been in the animated series?
It sounds like a variant of a Ken doll, but still, yeah.
That's
he was
awesome,
he was only in the animated series. And as the issue ends, we see this old, decrepit looking man. I don't think it's Scott-free, but he's in the Miracle Man, or he's in the Mr. Miracle costume. Is there some person named Thaddeus who was like Mr. Miracle for a time?
Oh, I think it's always been Scott.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Anyway, I haven't had a chance to research it, but yeah.
So apparently, I need to download this and
at least check it out. Is what I would suggest to you.
I was gonna wait till issue 1000.
Yeah, it's just basically a bunch of cameos because we're gonna get a whole bunch of things up until 1000 because 1,000 is shit's gonna hit the fan, guys. Just saying.
Yeah, definitely. Now, you said there's multiple artists and work.
I believe so. I think it's gonna be similar to Action Comics, where it'll be like an
that'll be
80-page thing.
Now, hold on 1 second. I want to talk about Hawkman, Supergirl, and Superman. Are you caught up completely with Venditti's Hawkman? Or
Yes. Holy shit! What a trip.
This issue I've loved this book, but this issue was like pretty crazy.
I know. I know. That's what I was thinking whenever I first picked up the. It was like issue 1 or 2 where they revealed like he has like a Kryptonian ancestor and all this wacky shit that I'm like, oh my god.
It's crazy how far back Carter holds existence in all these different times and places. The places thing is what's really thrown this one off.
I know they seem varied. Like they're ticking boxes of everywhere. Krypton. Yep. Okay. Oh, is he gonna be a Green Lantern? Yeah. Oh, hey, he had the Speed Force. Yup.
There's this one panel in it where it just shows like all this Kryptonian stuff. Like you see Doomsday, and then like
I saw that too, and I was thinking a little bit. I was like, what the fuck does Mongol have to do with Krypton? Whenever I was looking at that,
and all of this, and they've got one of the characters is the guy from they did a JLA, Brian Hitch, I believe. This is the DCU era, so right after 52, right before Rebirth.
In the shit era.
I liked Superman with shaved head. But no, they have that one character where they like go to they all worship Rao.
Yeah. Have they done a story with Rao yet before? Like actually have Rao as a character?
No, they did the worshippers of.
Okay, because that's always something I've wondered. Like Rao was just like a Superman from the future or something.
Maybe that's what we need to write, Nick.
Okay, yeah. Don't steal that. It's mine.
It's patent pending. Patent pending. But no, it ends kind of. It
ends abruptly. What are these things called? Death Stalkers, Death Bringers. What are they called?
I have no idea.
Well,
they were
go to the last page and look it up.
No, they're right here.
Okay,
I've got it pulled up, but they were also in an issue or a couple issues back, I believe. Too.
Yeah, I imagine they're probably some thing that's like way back in the Hawkman vault.
Gardner Fox.
Yeah,
era.
One of the Gardner Fox guys.
But no, all I can say is that this book was fun. This might be a little too. This issue was a little heady.
There's a lot to process
if you're new to the character, because I love Hawkman. I love Jeff Johns' run on it. I do like the old stuff.
Yeah.
And I've always liked him in the Justice Society and all that stuff. But there's stuff on this book that I like him constantly Googling because I don't.
I know. And I read that Supergirl was one of his students.
That was really funny.
Is that does she remember you? Dude, I don't remember, so I don't think she's gonna remember. And I'd like her to think too. He's like, did you know my old one, Kator Ol? Carter Hall. I never put it together. Like, and it's just gonna be like, what? You stupid bitch. But,
you stupid motherfucker.
I know, but, yeah.
Let's move. Speaking of Kara,
but anyway, it's worth picking up, right? Go look it up.
Start from the issue 1 because
there's probably a trade coming soon, I imagine. Yeah, they're 8 issues in.
I will say this also: every issue of this Hawkman run, I think we're 10 issues in now, has
8.
8. Okay,
yeah,
is all in because they all take place in different timelines. You could kind of pick up any issue and kind of get yourself
new.
into.
Yeah, it's something new for everybody. You know, you don't like Kryptonian? Fine. Here's your cowboy one. You don't like cowboys? Well, here's caveman. You don't like that? Prince Khufu, motherfucker.
I like the microverse stuff with Ray Palmer though. That was really fun.
Yeah, that was interesting. It's kind of what you wish Marvel would do sometimes. You know?
It's really funny right now. There's this middle area, this gray area where both books are reaching, but I think if we just had Donny Cates writing a DC
book.
But if Donny Cates was writing a DC book, we would have the perfect book finally.
Oh my god!
Because
Donny Cates writing,
DC is doing.
What if Donny Cates did like an Imperiex book, like where Superman fights Imperiex?
Well, that would be pretty. Well,
that would be awesome.
I can't imagine him doing Superman, but I think it's really insane that DC has got some really cool things going for it. Mm-hmm. But then sometimes I'm like, guys, please stop. And then Marvel, at this point, I'm like, stop giving me issue 1s. Seriously, I still
think DC is better quality wise over Marvel. Marvel has gotten
storytelling
better
or art
with
or
this,
both.
Yeah, Well, storytelling, I'd say. Storytelling for sure. Art, you can't do much better than like some of these guys, like Ivan Reis, Jim Lee. Yeah,
Ivan Reis has really been tearing it up lately.
I know it's delicious. But yeah, just stuff like that you can't really beat. Marvel had a few good ones this week though. Some really really tight art that I liked. I can't think of any off the top of my head because I'm a bad boy, but
I really like the art in Conan. We didn't really talk about that book because, but Jason Aaron,
it's Conan.
He's writing it, but it's really pretty. But no, I don't know. I
didn't.
It's crazy. I know they're the big two, but they're very different. It's really crazy how different they are. Like if you pick up if you didn't put DC or Marvel in the corner and its character didn't know, I could tell you what sort of book it was. Yeah, just by pacing and feel and
exactly. And like a lot of some of these writers write for both too. Sometimes nowadays it's more like an exclusive thing. But yeah, they don't feel like they're Bendis books. They don't feel like they're Lemire books. They don't feel like they're whoever books.
Well, you know what? Before we talk about Supergirl, let's talk about Superman that we're talking about. Bendis defined Marvel for so many years, and now he's
the ultimate side anyway. And then
he took over Daredevil, and he took over like all these great runs, Fantastic Four, Uncanny X-Men.
And he masterminded a lot of the events leading up to
Shadowland. When he led right up to that, where who did Shadowland? He didn't do Shadowland, but
I don't think so.
But they took all of his characters like Echo and like all these. Luke Cage wasn't really anything until he wasn't
like Miller again, was it?
No. It was someone different. But Bendis on Superman. I will say this: I'm loving Action Comics. Action Comics have always been my favorite, so I do rep it. Who was it, Nick?
Let's see. Well, we'll keep telling me. Andy Diggle. Andy Diggle.
Because he took over after Brubaker on Daredevil. But he is bringing a Bendis flair to Superman in Action Comics. But I will say it doesn't feel like a Marvel book to me personally.
Yeah, no, it doesn't feel like a Marvel book.
Do you think that's because Dan, what's his name,
Dideo?
Yeah. Do you think it's just because like having an editor-in-chief that really understands DC Comics?
I think that really does help because that's something that doesn't get a lot of attention either, editorials. Yeah, they're there to just kind of make sure that they continue like the same feel and that they don't get way too out there, which is funny considering what we just spoke about.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't really feel too Bendis-y because sometimes you can always be like, oh, that's Bendis.
It's got the quirky character, like quirky
lines.
And
there's a lot of words but it's a Superman book and those are wordy anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But
do you like Superman or Action Comics better right now? I mean, he's writing both, but I've always liked Action Comics because Clark is in it, but it takes place around the world of Metropolis. I always liked that.
That's a good question. I like the Superman family a lot better than I used to. Back in the day, I always just hated like Lois Lane and cub reporter Jimmy Olsen and just all that stuff.
Jimmy Olsen, I mean the Shagger of
that's
Talia
right.
al Ghul.
Yeah, I knew you would like that.
I still can't believe
I know.
that.
I sent him the picture and he's like, "What?" He's like, "Well, shit, I got a chance with her then too." Anyway, yeah, no, it was. I'd have to say I like Action Comics more. I think
I like what is this, Red Mist? Is that the title?
Yeah. I'm not a huge Red Mist kind of. I understand we need to incorporate new characters, but
I liked in that issue when they had the original car from the first Action Comics.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was cool.
That was I think that's gonna go cool. But so Nick and I briefly discussed this before, but this issue with Jonathan Kent.
It was strange.
How many years had he been gone? He's like 7 or something?
Well, it had only been 3 weeks, time.
Yeah, but
to him, I think it'd been gone, he said years. So that sounds about right. He looks like about teenage now.
It flashed forward, I felt too much. And they only told one story of him with Lobo. And I just, for me, I was like, where the fuck did this book
he fought
come
Dominators.
From? Because that's a flavor of the month.
They call it Dominators of Dominion. And I was like, they're Dominators. Just call them Dominators. They don't need the whole freaking name Jor-El. I'm still on the fence about Jor-El being like here anyway.
What did you say earlier?
Well, with at the end of this, spoiler for those of you that didn't, he's like, yeah, my grandpa's really crazy. We need to do something about him. Make sure everything is taken care of. I don't know. I smell John starting to become a bad guy here. I think John's going to turn out to be a secret naughty boy because in the New 52, there was some plot line where there's like an evil John Superman.
They had the Superboy was a actual experiment.
Yeah,
based off of Clark's blood. I think.
Clark and Lex put together. Because I looked this up when I looked up Connor Kent last week because I didn't know.
Because we still don't know.
Yeah, we still don't know how he's there, why he's there. But anyway, I was looking that up, and in New 52, one of his arcs was he fought a dystopian future where John Kent Superman was in power.
Didn't they also do one of those where Damian was in power? Was it Batman 666 where Damian had become like an evil?
Well, Damian is going to be an evil Batman. That's how it is. I think it was called Batman in Bethlehem was the actual issue or plot line or whatever. But yeah, he basically made a deal with the literal devil, and he it has Batman powers where he can heal.
I'm gonna read this exact panel.
Okay,
to back Nick up.
Lay it on me.
What I've been trying to get back home to tell you is Grandpa is completely insane, and we have to do something about it. Sorry, Pa.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's like, hey, I need you to go take care of this guy for me. Like it really does. When you give me that idea, it does sound like he might be bad.
And it just seems really convenient because I like John. I think John's a great character. I don't want him to grow up. I want him to stay the same age.
Yes, exactly.
Honestly, is what I want because he's great. He's at that age where everything is awesome, and his dad is the coolest guy in the world besides the Flash, and it's great.
Now that you say this, too, I'm also looking at this because Nick came up with that concept. I didn't think that, and now that I'm looking at it, Lois did leave. Like we don't know. I mean, it really could.
We don't know what happened between. Whatever week she was back and whatever.
See, and that's another thing I really liked in Action Comics when Lois came back and then Clark's like, WTF?
Yeah, I know.
You're meeting up with Lex. I really did like that. Like,
no, did you like that today too? Whenever she's like, "Oh hey, Mr. Kent, what's up?" and like she was like,
"Oh,"
and then she's like, "John." It was really funny. That made me laugh really hard.
Now the last book for this.
I had one more thing I was gonna say. I just liked it because this is like the last funny John thing I think we're gonna get until we find out this isn't really John. Whenever they go to that alien planet that Lobo's on, when he talks to him, he's like, "I want the most alien thing on there. I want something I can't even pronounce." And so they go, "Blah blah blah." "Oh, come on, you can do better than that. I want this." And so then Jor-El comes by and says he'll have the tater tots. And he goes, "Yeah, I love tater tots." And it just made me laugh really hard. I don't know why.
Tater tots. I think he does say the tater tots.
And Jor-El saying tater tots. It was hilarious.
The Dominators were in only 2 panels. Like, it's funny that they're like I said, the flavor of the week. But Supergirl came out, and I'm liking this series.
Okay, catch me up on Supergirl because I haven't been reading that. I haven't read it since the whole Rogol-Zar crap, so I've got a way to go.
Rogol-Zar, if you guys haven't been reading, was the big thing that took place in Man of Steel that got Bendis launched into the Superman world.
Mm-hmm. He was the bad guy for what, 2 issues? Maybe 3?
In Superman. He was kind of...
He was in Man of Steel, right? Yeah.
That was his main thing. But so Kara basically, she's so pissed because he took out Kandor, which is home to her. I mean, I can't fathom. I mean, if you really think about, I always say,
oh, that's right. He broke Kandor. I forgot about that.
She was basically like, Clark's being Clark. She's like, listen, you don't actually understand Krypton. I know you've got your holograms and shit. That's my fucking home. And she goes to space with Krypto.
You didn't live it, Clark. I did.
To go basically hunt down Rogol-Zar.
Because she's still a teenage girl. So.
Yeah, and she's pissed too. I mean,
Did she get a red lantern ring? Oh wait, no, that's already been done.
Yeah, well,
we've already been through this.
Which is one of my favorite arcs. I love that. Yeah. But so she's in space right now, going on this adventure with Brainiac. Brainiac teams up with her.
Brainiac 5 or just regular Brainiac?
I don't think it's 5. Because
it's not Bay.
I will say he's got a beard and stuff. I think it looks a little ridiculous in my opinion.
They've done so much with Brainiac lately. I thought Brainiac died because Amanda Waller somehow shut him down, but I didn't realize he was back yet.
Well, this would be, it's somewhere between Brainiac 5 and Brainiac Villain.
Oh, okay, wait, it's 2 through 4 somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
But the best part of this issue is the Omega Men show up, and it's the Omega Men lineup from Tom King's run.
Oh yeah, you and Tom King.
So this was awesome to see this. And then there were 3 characters from the original Omega Men missing in Tom King's run. The last panel we see, it's got Nimbus, Harpus, and Demonia.
And those are the 3 that are missing?
Yeah, tied up.
They've been kept there since the run?
So, well, I mean, they weren't in it. They were lost in combat, and now they've apparently been tied up by these, like, Dominator-type things. So, I don't know. This is a cool story. It's cosmic, and I think once this is finished, I probably should read this as a trade. It's really going to be good. My only thing is that the art style is kind of changing. And
have they changed artists recently?
Well, see, that's what I was looking up right now on this to see who exactly did it. But I don't know. It's weird how much that can throw a story off. Even if the person writing it is very consistent with the way they write it, you have a different book. Okay, I'm looking up right now.
He's looking it up, folks.
So they had, so it's slightly changed from the first issue to this.
Okay.
So that's the issue.
That's the issue with the issue?
Okay. But I don't know. It's fun. It's a fun book, and but besides that, I think that's really all I've got this week. Do you have any idea what's coming out next week that we can look forward to?
Doomsday Clock should be coming out within the next 2 weeks.
I will say I wanted to read Doomsday Clock as a trade, but at this point it's so
unless Russia leaks it again.
Oh yeah. It's such this book is you have to be so on top of it. Well, because it actually plays into the universe.
It's funny because like everything I've read about it, on the covers and like the actual DC sites and everything, it says like it's award-winning, groundbreaking, blah blah blah, this stuff. But when I go on Reddit and I see people talking about it, all they do is fucking complain, and that makes me laugh really really hard. They say that Jeff Johns is trying to, bring like socio-political implications to this, and it's like this happened in 2015. Like you don't even do that. I like it. I mean, I'm a DC fanboy, so whatever. But
has Moore talked about it at all, or Gibbons?
Not that I think so. No.
Or is it Gibson? Who was the artist of the
original?
Is it Gibbons or Gibson?
Yeah, I was gonna say Alan Moore. He's just done with it. He's like, he took my fucking characters. I don't care. I'm sure because that's his attitude. Did you look up any of more of that Morrison Moore?
No, I didn't.
Oh my god, it dates back from like '87. Like it was a long way.
Speaking of that, I am reading. My pre-order came in of Doom Patrol Volume 2 by Gerard Ways.
Oh, okay.
It was the last bit of Young Animal, and it's funny. I know.
Vertigo, but for younger people.
Yeah, I know it wasn't everyone's vibe, but I had fun with it because the imprint wasn't supposed to last. But
who won the Milk Wars, Austin?
Everyone did.
That's right. The readers won.
They defeated the
DC
Milk.
Because you gave them money.
It's really funny, that book. When I look back, it's crazy that they were supposed to go like one trade's length of each story. That was all the imprint was going to be. But they both had has 2 volumes, and then they continue it. Like Cave Carson became.
I was gonna say, I'm sure they were still writing a Cave Carson. Didn't he have like a cybernetic asshole by the end of it?
He probably needed it.
Isn't that what they renamed it?
Cave Carson has an intergalactic
guy.
Oh,
intergalactic guy. My mistake. Not an intergalactic asshole.
Which would be very, very fun to see.
Sounds like an Axel Braun porno parody.
But I don't know. I didn't look up what's coming next week, but I would say we're in a weird ground with comics right now because Marvel is just pumping out number ones, and and they're really.
They're really trying to get you into, which I understand. It's January, they're trying to get new things off the ground, see what sticks, what doesn't. But Marvel, that's something Marvel's always done. They just throw everything at the wall and just try to see what sticks.
Did you see there was a variant this week? I can't remember which book it was on, but it had Carol in the center, which is fine. But then it had Nadia, the new Wasp, Gwenpool, Miles, and a few other characters, and it's funny because that is what Marvel is now.
Marvel's make mine Marvel.
It's weird to see in Kate Bishop's the main person there too. Like it's just like
stop.
This is it's not about
the old guard is almost dead, which it's okay. Books. You need change. Growth comes from change, and you can't grow if you don't change.
I'm worried because I liked Miles from the Ultimate Verse. I liked him now he's incorporated into 616. But I'm really scared that the Into the Spider-Verse movie might ruin Miles for me. I love the movie. Don't get me wrong. I love the movie. But I'm afraid that the oversaturation of the character might destroy one of my favorite characters, especially in now Carol. I don't think we're ever going to get her back to the way she was. Like, Nick always says that she's a C-list character that wants to be an A-list
character. She was best when she was Miss Marvel, in my opinion.
And now that, and you know, she's one of my favorite characters, but I don't think I'm going to get the Carol I used to like back.
You know, and I don't know how many times I've said this, but her appeal in the old thing was that she wasn't somebody that they would call right away. She's somebody that wanted to be big time. She's somebody that wanted to be in the limelight, wanted to get all that attention.
She had Captain Marvel to look towards. I mean,
exactly. And she's somebody that I knew would always get that mantle at some point. I didn't think it would be Space Cancer that does it. But, yeah, no, she was best because she wanted to be good. You know, she wanted to try, and she was, like, new. If this was Captain Marvel, kind of like how they used to do Sam Alexander Nova, that would be cool. Like somebody...
Also, that's one character that stuck around as well. Sam Alexander.
I haven't seen him for a long time. Since is he still in Champions? Or?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
I mean, I liked that coming out, like because I liked Rich, but like I really thought that was a good character.
And it's like what we've been talking about years ago. How the Green Lantern Corps needed a girl. I mean, it's been around since I guess the 30s, if you want to include Alan Scott, but they never had a female.
Just really,
I love her. I think she's great,
and I think Odyssey is going to be a good place for her to grow.
Yeah, definitely. And I agree with you on Simon. I don't really dig Simon all that much.
He's kind of out of it right now.
He's interesting because he's so different from the other Green Lanterns, which is great. That's why Kyle Rayner just clicked back in the day because John Stewart was in the Air Force, Guy Gardner was police, John Stewart was Marine. He's an artist. So like it was something new and fresh.
I need to bring Omega Man over for you because that's about Kyle Rayner getting kidnapped by terrorists.
Oh, cool! I like. Yeah.
So I think you
was this Kyle Rayner when he was Ion though? Like
this is when he would be White Lantern. So
who could kidnap him then? Like
the Omega Man, the only people that could because he didn't have his ring.
Oh well, that would explain it.
Tom King explains it very thoroughly. He has 12 issues.
All right, Tommy, you're gonna have to sell me on it.
Back to Carol real quick. I was going back and I was reading some of my I have Marvel Essentials, those big black and white pieces. I was reading some Uncanny X-Men when Carol was binary on X-Men and she was just fucking crazy and would destroy everything.
I wonder if we're going to get like I don't think we're ever going to get a binary.
Back again, you don't think so?
Well, no, in the MCU either. Because that's just maybe in one scene, like for like the very last scene. Maybe we'll get like some kind of binary,
full binary version.
Just burn her power out, pretty much.
Or maybe that's how she just kills Thanos. She turns the binary for 10 seconds and just blows him up.
No, apparently Captain Marvel can go back in time if Sam Jackson is to be believed.
Carol can go back in time.
That's what Sam Jackson said in an interview. But then again, this is Sam Jackson. Nick Fury used to be a white guy running through the jungle. Then I picked up a issue and I was like, that's me. You remember that?
I don't remember.
There's a white dude with an eye patch running through the jungles of Vietnam.
I rewatched Avengers the other day, and I forgot how much is taken from the Ultimate Universe. Like Nick Fury, obviously, Chitauri, Thor is even very ultimate-y version of itself.
Well, yeah, because the Ultimate versions are them like reimagined in a modern setting.
Wasn't the Ultimate? When did Avengers come out? I mean,
2012. Like
so the Ultimate
movie?
Wasn't even at its height then.
Oh no, it was definitely at its height. Ultimatum is whenever it tanked.
Is that the one we like with David Finch on art? That when Blob eats.
Yeah, tastes like chicken. Yeah, I like Ultimatum. Apparently, that's super divisive among the comic book community.
I think it's because we didn't have as much. There were Ultimate fanboys, like really, really intense fans, and they didn't like. I still think my favorite Ultimates.
Well, I think it's ballsy they killed off so many people. I love that. I think that's cool.
Ultimate Hawkeye that Jonathan Hickman wrote?
No, but if Hickman wrote it sounds interesting.
It was that was a cool story, and but I'm anxious for the end game Ronin.
You want to see Ronin? Justin is gonna get his birthday wish. We got Ronin Hawkeye.
It's gonna be interesting to see the way they handle it because
Oh man, I hope we get to do this at the con, because I am so ready to discuss all these theories, all these different things I've read on the internet, from like things that make sense to like batshit insane. I'm just ready.
There's been some.
Yeah.
Have you seen the whole celestial talk?
Yeah, the one I read recently today was Peter Parker never got off the bus. Like, do you remember that throwaway line? He's like, I should have stayed on the bus. This apparently is like an alternate universe. When Thanos like snaps his fingers, it sends them to an alternate universe where he didn't get off the bus. He just stayed on the bus whenever all that shit was going on. It's stupid. Same with
I haven't read anything. I need to go.
There's some crackpot theories out there, and I love every single one of them. And I want that, because it's going to be a 3-hour panel, Austin. We're just going to talk about this. It's going to be great.
That sounds a little too intense, but okay.
I'm an intense man. Let's go.
I've got a theory. Korg.
Heyman.
He's just floating in space.
Is Meek there too?
And
oh, there's Meek floating. Hey, come here, Meek. Oh, I got you, little buddy.
He could be the tie-in that really brings it all together.
He's gonna be the Thing in Fantastic Four.
He like knocks on Tony out in outer space where he's dying.
Hey man, need some help? You want to join the revolution? There's a big guy named Thanos who's coming. You want to fight him? Doug's gonna be there. No, God. Yeah. I just there's so much I've read. I've read Black Knight is going to
you said that to me the other day.
Scott Lang through the quantum realm, which is like, I don't think so.
That only works if Martin Lawrence plays him.
Jesus, as Big Mama. Like
he's big. Do you remember the movie?
Yeah, the movie Black Knight. I remember that. Ooh. Like I remember, but that's what I'm saying. As Big Mama,
is Martin Lawrence still alive?
Yes, he is. I think he's still crazy as well too.
It's his career.
No, I think Kevin Hart does his stuff now.
Oh, gotcha. He inherited the role.
Kevin Hart does his material.
Who is
now.
not hosting the Oscars?
Yeah, no. Well, Kevin Hart, he's got caught with all this like sexual stuff too, like all this Me Too movement stuff.
Do you remember a couple years ago when Mark Waid made that? I loved this book and people hated it. It was about like a black man wakes up in the American South naked, and he like helps like stop a flood, and people thought it was too like it was too on the nose, because like he wore an American flag as his underwear. Did you read this book?
No.
Okay.
Sounds like something I should read though.
I need to bring this over to you. It was really good, but everyone was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you did that." And
what's
then,
it called?
I'm trying to remember the name of it. I'll have to look it up. But,
okay, yeah, we'll have to check it out.
Everyone gave poor Mark Waid, legendary Mark Waid, shit over this book, and it had it had art similar to Alex Ross's for Kingdom Come.
Okay, yeah, and Alex Ross, he
but
painting.
It wasn't. Ross did not do it.
I hope. God, can you imagine that? Oh man, oh Lord. Okay.
But yeah, all right. So let's say same time next week.
Yeah. We better get off this before we start talking about R. Kelly again.
Yeah, which could definitely happen. But
yeah.
Man, some good stuff this week. But I say biggest thing: go buy Venom, go buy Hawkman.
Just buy comic books in general. The medium's in trouble.
It is.
Yeah.
So, all right, have a good time, and we'll check in next week, talk about Glass, and see what else happens.
All right, see you guys. Bye.